What's up, guys? This is Coach Amir from SevenFigureBody.com, and so far I've helped transform over 1,200 successful entrepreneurs in the last 16 years as a coach. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the visual food cues and how they're actually making your weight loss harder, or how visual food cues are actually making us eat more and make us gain weight. So a study just came out recently that is actually a replication of the study from quite a few years ago. There was a researcher called Brian Wansink, and he actually wrote some awesome books and had a really influential role in how our psychology is linked to our weight gain and or weight loss. And unfortunately, back in, I think it was 2017 or 18, a bunch of the research papers that they did actually went under scrutiny. They plagiarized the data. It was like a lot of irregular stuff was going on, let's put it that way. They had a lot of biases, and pretty much, you know, most of the studies that they've done basically went toward what they believed, and it seemed like that happened to a larger degree than it actually did, right? Like they either plagiarized the data, or they said that they didn't actually have an intention to do so, it just happened due to bad miscalculations or mathematical analysis, etc. So that's why when that specific individual, or you see a study by him, in my book, it's like I would actually take it with a grain of salt, pretty much anything that came out of that lab. However, and unfortunately in the evidence-based industry it is like that. However, here's what the new study showed. They did basically a replication of the study that is the famous soup bowl experiment, if you will. So basically they had two groups of subjects. One was, and they were all told that they were just going there to try out new tomato soup. They didn't tell them what the purpose of the study was, nothing to do with satiety, none of that. They're like, we just need you to try the new taste of the tomato soup. So they gave them, one group was basically given a soup bowl and they just eat it, that's it. The other one actually had a little straw from below the table going into the soup, and it kept refilling the soup as they were eating. So basically they're eating the soup and they're pumping the soup again, more of it, into the bowl as they were eating. Now, the difference is how much more soup are they going to eat, given that while they're distracted by something, just eat. It's like, oh, the soup is here again. Oh, so, they kind of did that not in a intrusive way. So it's not like somebody eats the whole bowl and all of a sudden it's full, right? It's just like, as they have, 1, 2, 3 spoons, they add that much more. So people, what they do, keep eating. So in the first initial study, I think in 2017, the group that had the bowl that was adding the soup, the amount of soup to it, had 110 calories more. Basically like double the amount of calories compared to the group that just ate the normal soup bowl, right? So almost double the calories. In this study, the outcome was still the same. They ate more soup if they were added more soup. However, the difference was not that huge. It was only 60 calories, but that's like a quarter, like 25% more. So what this basically means is, if you are having large amounts of food in front of you, or you're using large, soup bowls or large plates, you're going to eat more food. That's the basic conclusion from all of this. It's just like, the more we're given, the more we eat, because our brains are like, we love food and food tastes good, so why wouldn't I eat more? And this is one of the reasons that everything that this guy did back then was so popular and so influential. He literally said, take smaller plates, you're gonna eat less. Even if that's not your goal, you don't have to focus on weight loss, just use smaller plates, put as much food as you want to eat on them, and you're going to eat less food compared to you having larger plate. Because, a lot of us were taught, especially here in the Balkans, like, finish your plate, right? So it doesn't matter, your mom puts food on it, on the table, you better eat what's in the plate. Otherwise, you're in trouble. So if your mom puts, huge amount of food, you eat it all. If she puts a little less food, you eat that all, but it's a lot less calories than you otherwise would. This is one of the many ways that you can do, or things that you can do, to actually cause an environment around you that supports your weight loss goal if you're trying to lose weight and get leaner. And vice versa. Having large plates, or things like if at 9 or 10 p.m. every night somebody brought a large family pizza to your house, it's going to take a robot like iron will to exert that self-discipline to say no when you are tired, exhausted, your self-discipline muscle has been exhausted, you don't have willpower anymore, you're just going to eat whatever. So in the cases, and especially in these cases, like later in the day, when we know that when you wake up in the morning, you're probably not going to eat, large family pizza at 8 a.m. You're much more likely to have that later in the day when your defenses are down and when your willpower is low or lower. And in that case, having smaller plates, filling them with, large, voluminous foods that are lower in calories, such as lean proteins and vegetables and fruit. And there's another tip that I can give you, which is what they showed, that if you have different colors of your plates and food that are kind of more distinct, you are more likely to notice the difference and notice the amount of food you're eating. So for example, if you have a fish, let's say some beef, and this food is like, let's say, darkish color, and then you use white plate, that difference you're noticing more that the amount of food is X, whatever the amount of food is. And therefore, you're probably going to eat less compared to if you have white fish and then you put it in a white plate. It kind of all looks the same to the brain because you're not really focused on food. You should be, by the way, but we're usually not. We're talking to somebody, looking something on the phone, watching TV, whatever we're doing, or talking with people who are eating with us. And your brain is less likely to notice the amount of food you're eating if the food is white or lighter color, and then the plate is white as well. So again, this is something that you really have to put effort in, but it can have a really, really significant positive impact in the amount of food you eat in a way that increases your awareness. Because at the end of the day, guys, being aware more of the amount of food you eat, what food you eat, how many calories it has, these are the keys to actually getting leaner and losing weight easier than the alternative. So hope this video helps you. This is a new study that is a replication of the old one that proved the principles again, even though not the extent to which the previous study showed, that it's like you eat double the amount if they keep pumping, soup in your bowl. As you eat double the amount. In this case, it was actually like 25 to 30% more. It's still more. And remember that the difference between a normal weight and overweight person is only 10% calories per day makes you overweight. So if you eat 10% more over your maintenance, you get overweight. If you eat 20% more over time, you get obese. So 20 to 30% more per meal is very, very significant, compounded over many weeks and months. Of course, we can use that in the opposite direction as well. If you know what your maintenance calories are, and you cut 10% from that, which is very easy without even knowing you did it, by changing your food choices, you will lose weight over time. You'll go from overweight to normal weight. If you are obese and you cut 20% and you make it so that you're not really aware of it that much by just changing your food choices, maybe having more water, more vegetables, more leaner proteins, 20% more, or in this case 20% less food below your maintenance makes you from obese to normal weight with enough time. So these very, very small differences, because 10%, I guarantee you if I took 10% off of your food today, you would not know. Like you would have no idea that you're eating 10% more or less. Yet, one makes you, or helps you lose weight and get lean. The other one makes you overweight over time. Pretty significant. So as always, the compounding effect is very real, especially for us entrepreneurs. These small things, as we know, matter in business, in relationships, in your financials, and certainly in your body weight and health. So guys, hope you like this video. Any questions you have or comments, put them in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.